Now 7:51. Ed Begley Jr. has been known to go through life with a sort of bemused, sort of quizzical look at the craziness around us. What better person to examine spring and one of its stranger rites?
There are certain rites of spring which happen only in America. The swallows come back to Mission Capistrano in California. Wild geese return home to the Great Lakes in Canada. Chocolate Easter bunnies find their way back to drugstores and sweet shops. And college students from every state in the Union invade Fort Lauderdale. Every spring semester break, literally hundreds of thousands of American college students make their way to Fort Lauderdale in search of sun, surf, sex, and... They crowd the beaches, they crowd the hot tubs, they crowd the clubs. They hold crazy contests from belly flopping to belly painting. And yes, they drink beer.
It's an 8-day party.
Now, for hotel and club owners, spring break means money. That seems like a pretty good idea. But talk to some of the other residents around here, and you'll find their opinions somewhat divided.
I think there are too many youngsters coming down and destroying our property and lousing up the traffic.
Well, I think they deserve their vacation and time to enjoy themselves.
The way they act, that's just terrible. And I think the girls are the worst. The way they run around, they're just asking for it.
I think it's fabulous, because the people that come now will probably come back to live here.
Fort Lauderdale just celebrated its 75th anniversary. To make certain the city is here to celebrate the next one, civic and business leaders have come up with some ideas to keep spring break frolics under control.
Organized intercollegiate team sports are being played on the beaches. A safety barrier along the famous Strip protects students from highway traffic. Dozens of portable toilets have been placed in areas where students congregate.
29 toilets, no waiting.
Police are out in force making sure there's no drinking on the streets. All this has seemed to curb violence and accidents. But has it really cleaned up the Students' Act?
Obviously, this is the kitchen area into here.
Rocco, let me ask you something. How long did it take you to amass this mess here?
About 15 minutes.
I see.
At the Holiday Inn, manager Bob Gore showed me how his hotel is strictly enforcing a code of ethics, which, among other things, requires...
We restrict 5 people per room.
I see.
In here.
Students are also held strictly accountable for any damage to their rooms. Making a hole in the wall will cost you anywhere from $50 to $100, depending on the size.
That's a very large hole. How did that happen?
Well, it looks like somebody came running out the door and they couldn't stop, or they just kicked it in, and it's a $350 hole.
That's a big hole.
Yes, it is.
This is The Button, one of the most famous, if not infamous, clubs on the Strip. Step inside and you instantly join the cast of Animal House, doing its part to keep students off the street and out of trouble. The Button sponsors such wholesome intercollegiate sports as jello sucking. At The Button, cleanliness is next to godliness, so all guests are duly hosed down by a willing staff. Yes, the spirit of good, clean fun lives on in Fort Lauderdale. And so it is spring, and once again the swallows have returned to Capistrano. The geese to Canada. The chocolate bunnies are nesting safely in their Easter displays. And at The Button, 10,000 empty beer cans are swept down a chute, eventually to be recycled for next spring break.
Ed has a unique view of life, huh? You never did any of that kind of stuff.
Oh, no, we didn't. I may have damaged a few hotels.